Is this thing on?
All right, let's get this show on the road.
Okay.
The man is woken up by a knock at the door one morning. He gets up and goes downstairs to open the door and is met by a 6'6" spider who immediately headbutts him, runs inside, tramples all over the man, kicks him in the back, boots his ribs, and stomps all over him. Next thing the homeowner remembers is waking up in the hospital. Turning to the doctor, he says, "I feel terrible. What's wrong with me?" "Don't worry, everything's all right," the doctor tells him. "There's just a vicious bug going around."
That's a terrible joke, but I like it. Episode number 15, everybody. Welcome
That
back.
is in reference to Omicron, the new fear tactic of the media.
Oh man, the new
Have
variant.
Have you heard this? The new variant,
The South American or South African one, yeah.
Yeah, they're shutting countries down again.
Oh dear Lord.
Oh boy. Yes. Welcome back to episode number 15 of the Coffee and Carving Show and Coffee in Hand. What are you
That's
drinking?
right. I have a very fancy coffee today. My housemate still hasn't responded. I texted him saying, "Hey, can I try some of your fancy coffee?" So Ben, if you're watching this, it's a Kenya Gondo by Desert Oasis. And it's I don't know anything about it. Apparently it has notes of blackberry jam and grape juice and orange.
Really?
I don't taste it. It tastes like great bitter grapefruit to me, but
well, I'm drinking Maxwell House Dark, and there's a reason for it. My Sophie's been away for a while, for 4 days, and it's so funny. My buddy Steve was putting new windows in next door neighbor's house.
Yeah, and
I said, "Hey, you coming over for a coffee?" He goes, "Yeah." So I said, "Well, let me go make a pot of coffee." And I went in the house. Not a stitch of coffee. I emptied 4 specialty roasters bags of beans into my little thing just to make 1 pot of coffee. I made a swamp mix of coffee.
Nice.
And all my fancy coffee is now gone. And you know what? He didn't know the difference anyway. Anyway, that's why we're down to Maxwell House. So gonna have to stock up on some good coffee again.
Should have given him the Maxwell House.
Didn't have it. I had to buy this.
Right.
Before my wife got home, because if she doesn't get coffee, oh, look out. Right. So, but yeah, that was funny. Just dumped 4 different. One was even like I don't even know where it came from. Even a black cherry mixed in with like a vanilla and all these funny flavors together. And yeah. So that's it. But good for us. Coffee and carving, coffee part.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Sayonara, sleep. Yeah, I'm not a big like coffee connoisseur, but this is the first sip is strong. It threw me off, but the more I'm drinking it, the more I kind of like it. So there you go.
I wouldn't call myself a connoisseur either, but I know what I like. But I don't know how to describe it.
Right.
This is the problem, you see.
Right. Well, that's why the bag gives you the descriptions. Helps you. Yeah,
no, it doesn't. That would help me not even one little iota. Say those. What do you get? How many berries, essences, and that's all baloney. It's like some snobby wine taster,
right?
But
yeah, true.
Anyway, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? The saga continues with the Jeep, of course.
Oh my.
And so speaking of frivolous activities, the Jeep wouldn't start today. And last night. And I needed to pick up some lumber, in part for my housemate who is building an outdoors box for camping supplies. From Filson's website, they had this plan written up and he's following it to a T, and so he needed more plywood. And so his bed he's got a brand new Tacoma, which is great, but it's got a 5-foot bed. So we were going to take my truck, and sure enough, it doesn't even crank over. So I'm scrambling before Ben gets home to avoid embarrassment of Ben seeing my new truck, with the hood up, completely unable to even leave the driveway, and never got it to work, never figured it out, thought maybe it was flooded. It seemed to be sparking, but not sparking though. So it wasn't, I realized it wasn't a flooding issue. And my dad came over today, and, as soon as I realized it was an electrical issue, I'm out. I mean, I have no idea what I'm doing with electrical stuff, but it ended up being, some ignition control module issue that can be fixed by unplugging it and plugging it back in. I don't understand, but
Really?
but it still doesn't start. It's like that thing of you're working on something and it kind of fixes itself, which seems good, but it's actually the worst possible case scenario.
Yes, because you didn't fix anything. Exactly.
Yeah. And who knows? You could be,
Yeah.
in the middle of Wyoming in the woods with your truck, and it just happens again, and you're kind of in big trouble.
That happens all the time when something just needs a little rest, and you start wiggling everything. Oh, it works now.
Yeah.
It didn't. It just needed a rest.
That's what it was.
Down. Yeah.
Right. Wiggling things around. It's like, these vehicles, notorious, like their Achilles heel, these Comanche trucks, is the electrical systems they put in them. The early Comanches were not great. So that's been a big part of the last 2 days. And so I literally, a lot like 4 or 5 weeks ago, was driving around the entire day, went to the auto shop 3 times, buying different parts to try and replace, and of course realized that the trick was just to unplug something and plug it back in. With my dad, of course. Again, I don't want my dad to listen to this and think I'm taking any credit for it. It was all him, but
yeah.
So
with your mechanical skills.
Yeah, right. Which are non-existent. So they're growing. I think the Jeep is nice in that it's super simple. I mean, the screws are visible. Everything is just made to be taken apart. So it gives you a sense of confidence too, that the vehicle isn't all that nice. It's rusty and old. And so I'm not worried that I'm going to break it or do anything. So I'm learning vehicle things. So repair.
Yep.
But aside from that, yeah.
Well, the beauty is if you put enough money in that truck, you're gonna have to keep it long enough, and then you're gonna know it inside out and backwards by the time you're done, right? You'll be saying, "Oh, I replaced that part in 2021."
You're right.
Right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That shouldn't be it. I remember doing that. Yeah. So
eventually, it's just a completely new vehicle, right?
Yeah.
Like 7 years from now, it's just $25,000 later.
You'll be welding frame parts on the side of your rotten old frame.
Yeah. It was a unibody.
Scabbing it together.
It actually has a proper chassis now that thanks to folks who recommend Bleepin' Jeep. I did see that wild man, was his name, Matt, turning a Comanche into a rock crawler. And it's so cool. I could never imagine myself doing that to it, because I like things. For some reason, I think it's the way I was raised. I just have a hard time taking original things and cutting them apart, and I would feel bad doing that somehow. But it's definitely cool.
I couldn't find a rock to save my life to start with. Sell cornfields.
Yeah. Doug's driving his rock crawler build around the cornfields.
There isn't a rock for 200 miles.
Yeah. Well, not here either, in all fairness. Like, we'd have to go up to God knows where to get anything good for rock crawling. But aside from that, the fundamentals. So my plan for today was to finish a project I started yesterday for fundamentals of wood carving, which is released at the beginning of the month. But the project is a wildlife landscape with a Teton mountain range, a wolf, and some pine trees, along with like a lake. I can't remember the name of the lake that's featured in front of the Teton mountain range in a lot of these wildlife photographs. But that's been something that's been kind of requested, and I got a commission recently. So somebody said, "Hey, would you do a carving of that by Christmas?" And so I said I would, and I realized, it's an opportunity to do the carving that people have been bugging me about, something outside of the realm of faces. So
yeah, that'll be your first venture out of the faces, right?
Well,
is that true? No, sorry, you did. No, that's not true. You did flowers and stuff in the school, but yeah.
There's a couple of beginner projects. Yeah. Leaf and some basic stuff, but this will be the first kind of more advanced. I'll put this in the beginner category too, right next to that
Santa.
Yeah.
Super difficult Santa.
The school is designed to make people feel bad. No.
You think you're a intermediate carver? Try this. Nope, you're a beginner.
Yeah. Oh gosh. What a doofus. Yeah.
No, it's all good. Well, that's good. What else? It's been a whole week.
Yeah.
We haven't chatted much at all.
It's true. Aside from that, I have been diligent with the Swedish the last week. I probably missed 1 or 2 days, today being one of them, but I've been brushing up on my Swedish. And it's safe to say that I feel about where I was the last we talked, though, even though I've been consistent. I think maybe now I'm just a little bit more confused, but otherwise, I mean, I can still say Velkommen and talk and yeah, I think VI means we, but I'm not sure because the language learning software I'm using is really, it's their fault somehow, I'm sure.
Well, I'm going to butt in to your week, and I'm going to talk about a video that you put up on YouTube on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And one commenter in particular wrote a comment in Greek
that I couldn't read.
I went to Google Translator and I typed in nice work for a young boy or something like that, translate to Greek, and I copied and pasted it on your thing, and I laughed and then 2 days, no response. I'm like, come on. But then someone else put another comment. Is that Swedish below?
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
No? Okay.
So anyway. I think it was German, but
okay. Well, anyway, that was funny too. So yeah, you want to talk that you speak languages? And...
Oh my gosh. Well, so to be fair, I could at one time read better than I could speak because what is the language learning thing that was real popular? Rosetta Stone uses, it kind of pushes you toward reading faster than it does speaking. Whereas these language transfer is what I'm using now, almost entirely focuses on speaking and none on reading. So I have virtually no recollection of, I could read Agori at the very end, you know, and I know that's a kid, but I don't remember any of these other letters. Mia, Ine, Agori, I don't know. So, but I love that 5 people that like this comment. Video.
I liked it immediately because Muggsy put a laughing face like really quick after I wrote. I said, there, vindicated. There's a good one. He knows what's up.
He's a fun guy. But maybe this is Swedish. I don't think that, no, it's not Swedish. But at least Google translated it for me, which was nice. So aside from that, yeah, I did post. I've had this video I've been sitting on for a while, ready to post for Christmas, but I can't bring myself to celebrate. And I don't know if we'll talk about this week, maybe next, but Christmas before Thanksgiving. I think it's like wrong. I just can't do it.
No. But that said, you guys had a very late Thanksgiving, didn't you?
Well, the American Thanksgiving.
It's your normal Thanksgiving, but it's at the wrong time. It's not a proper time for Thanksgiving.
Well, that brings up a good point. Like if you started Christmas at your Thanksgiving, that'd be way too early.
Well, basically after Halloween, you're thinking Christmas.
Really?
Right? So
not us.
Yeah. But Thanksgiving, it should be at harvest time, I figure. I think we got it right.
You would. You Canadian.
Yeah. So during your week, at any point in time, did you ever think to yourself that I think I should upload a podcast on Friday? Did that ever cross your mind? Or
one of the comments I read, I think probably Friday, maybe Saturday. Was it Sunday?
Definitely Sunday.
Yeah. I read was Hey guys, for some reason I'm not seeing episode 14 on Apple. So I'm like, oh, that's weird. Let me go to Apple. It's not there. Weird. Then I'll check Spotify. Oh, it's not here either. That's weird. Check other platforms. Oh crap. Away from home. Texted you saying, oh, I think there's a problem here.
Mhm.
I went home. You said it. I sure hope this is your fault so I can tease you for it on the podcast.
Yes, I did say that. Yep.
And I said I was secretly hoping that it wasn't somehow, but I knew that it would be my fault. And I got home, opened my laptop up quickly. I had about 5 minutes to fix this and ended up not being able to connect. Took it to my girlfriend's church. You're right. So it was on Sunday. And sat in a little like pastor's room while church was going, trying to upload
Oh no.
the podcast. What I did figure out though, aside from the fact that the podcast was now taking me away from the Lord, is that I didn't press the submit button. I had it all set up to schedule. I uploaded it to Anchor. I never pressed submit.
So, yeah, I guess that's an important step.
You don't say.
So
I
I think this is
apologize.
his roundabout way. There it is. There it is. That's all we wanted. That's all we wanted.
Truly, because I know based on the statistics, a lot of folks, they listen to it, first thing Friday morning. So I really appreciate that. And so it was my bad. It won't happen. It won't happen again.
No, easy now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who are we kidding here?
It's likely that it will at some point in the distant future happen again, but I'll do my best to avoid it.
Well, let me just say that if in the future Alec does not get the podcast up in the audio, you can be sure it'll be on the video, because that's my side. Oh,
Not
yeah,
wrong.
that's what I said. I so hope it's your fault so I can tease you about it. So,
and I love it. I
yeah,
love it.
that's great.
It's the best.
Well, that's about
that's about it for me. Yeah, I can't think. I mean, I did insulate the sauna beginning of the week.
Sauna.
My goodness. It's sad that I corrected you and I can't remember it.
Yeah.
Sauna.
I'll still say sauna till I die.
Yeah. No, it's too.
I've said it my whole life. Sauna.
Everyone says it that way in America and apparently Canada too. So, but yeah, I didn't finish insulating it, but it's most of the way insulated. And I ended up cutting side panels for the basically the peak of the roof. I'm not sure what it's called, but the peak needed some T111 siding, and it had some particular angles, so I had to measure that all out and got that cut, and it's ready to be boxed in. Have all the wiring and the hardware and stuff, but I just need to actually cut everything, cut the holes for the wiring and all that fun stuff. But I'm actually making some progress on it, so now I'm getting excited to remove.
I thought that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I thought that crossed my mind when you said you saved money buying the electric heater. I wonder if you took into account the heavy duty wire you're gonna have to run from your house. Have you purchased that wire?
Worse yet is and I have, and it is expensive. But worse yet is the bill that I'm gonna pay to run that thing. It's that electric. It's like running a giant toaster constantly.
Yes, I suppose so.
I am scared. I'm truly scared, because if you factor in all of the expenses, like you say, including the wire, which was expensive, it's probably worth the $20 a visit that I had to spend during COVID quarantine visiting my friend's sauna.
Yeah.
And who knows? We'll see. But I don't know. It certainly isn't one of these things that you could directly say, well, that's going to improve your home value, because I don't know if it will, but
no, it'll just improve your life.
Hopefully.
Maybe you won't smell as much.
He hasn't met me yet, folks. He doesn't know me.
Well, I've had a crazy week.
I probably do smell.
Tell
me about it.
It's funny. We talked about the last week on the podcast where after the podcast, I said, man, I felt negative, right?
Oh,
It felt like a really negative podcast. And then listening to it after the fact, it sounded fine.
it
Wasn't
was
bad.
fun.
A little bit of whining and complaining on my end about YouTube people.
Mhm.
But I had mentioned that I had removed all the apps and stuff from my phone, and that's been working out fantastic.
Hmm.
It totally changes everything.
Really?
Just ignoring everything during the daytime and just checking in once in a while. But on that same note, after my shorts debacle, not taking in all that criticism and negative comments and stuff this week, I decided on my own to enjoy the process of video making, and I made 2 more shorts.
Wow.
And yeah, and I said I would never do a short again,
Right.
but I didn't do a short for any reason other than just to make something, to create a video, and that was fun.
Hmm.
So the one I did was a some of the listeners may remember I had done a video about fan bird carving
Hmm.
a few months back, and this time I just made a little flower, and real fun little quick little project. So it's just a little 50-second video, and then I spent a long time looking at my watching my bird feeder and getting angrier and angrier. Remember I told you I had squirrels in my attic at one time?
Yes.
But then I because I was still had a couple of days of holidays, right? So
Right.
I was looking out the window, and every time I looked at the window, there's a squirrel in my bird feeder eating all my expensive songbird feed. And I mean, I don't mind giving them a corn cob, but they're not eating all that Niger seed and stuff. That's not right. So I made another video which I haven't released yet, but hopefully by the time this comes out, it'll be released. And again, it's me not caring about YouTube so much and not stressing out. I'm making a video about sheathing my 4x4 pole to my bird feeder, and then sitting back and watching the squirrels try to jump up the pole and then not getting their nails in and sliding down the pole. It's so comical, over and over and over again, until they gave up. Said, I guess we're not getting it no more. We'll just stay on the bottom and wait for crumbs to fall. So yeah, that was
The
my
only
fun.
thing you have left to do is do that to your house. Flat aluminum siding.
That's right. That's what I should do. Just do this big reflective aluminum house.
Right.
But yeah,
Mhm.
but also I was a bachelor. Well, me and Willow spent the last 4 days together because Mama went to Montreal,
Mhm.
but that turned out to be quite a debacle. But we won't get there yet. But we did all kinds of fun stuff, dad and daughter's weekend, and yeah, we did some old. One of her favorite things is, and it's so strange to me, but she loves going to secondhand stores and
Willow
just
does?
finding. Yes,
Hmm.
she just loves it. She dresses like a, I don't know, like a hippie, and she's so eclectic and doesn't care what anybody thinks. So she's always buying like granny sweaters, and it's just strange clothes. But
That's
so
cool.
we did stuff. Yeah, it is pretty cool. I like a kid that's willing to be individual, as long as it's not in a negative way. It's not looking for attention in the wrong way that most teenage girls do. But
Right.
no, she's good. But yeah, so we hung out quite a bit.
Hmm.
But the problem came when Sophie took a train to Montreal with her sister-in-law and her friend
Mhm.
for like a girls' weekend, and it's about I think it's a 6-hour train ride from Toronto.
Right.
So they got there, no problem. It was all good. They had a good time. She went to like the no how do you say it, Notre Dame Cathedral. It's like an old super fantastically made church there, and they did all this there's some 6-story mall, and I don't even know what else she did, honestly. I didn't ask. But coming home, I was to pick them up at the train station at this town that's about I guess a half-hour drive from me.
Mhm.
And the last day that they were there, they checked out of the hotel and then found out that their train was not there and would not be there, and there was no other train at that time. Their train had been canceled due to unforeseen circumstances. Well,
Oh,
it turns out someone got killed.
seriously.
Yeah, I think it was a worker, a train worker. I don't know the whole story, so don't quote me, but this got killed, so there's an investigation. So her train had to sit. So they spent the whole day in the train station waiting to get on another train. And by this time it's getting later in the day. So finally at 4:30 they got on a train, and then they got on the train, then the train was delayed, and then anyway it just became this great debacle, and everything that happened just got later and later and later. And so I had to go pick them up, and what was going to be 10:30 was 12:30, 2:30, 3 o'clock even. Didn't know it was a big guessing game. And then they found out that they couldn't get to Toronto, to the city that I was to pick them up at, because there was no train. So
Right.
then the train company via rail had to hire a shuttle to shuttle these 3 girls, basically a 2-hour taxi ride to the city. But then I would pick them up, which is a half hour away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, so that would have been like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is ridiculous. But okay, whatever. So as the night went on, I was like, I gotta stay awake. And then it was about 12:30, and I was getting pretty groggy and wasn't too amped up about that drive.
Right.
So I said, well, I know what I need. My travel mug of espresso.
Oh no.
So no sooner I drank a whole pot of espresso at 12:30 at night. After consuming the espresso, she calls me and says, "Great news! Since there's only the 3 of us on the shuttle, they're going to bring us home to our door."
You're kidding
And I'm
me.
like, no. I'm like, no. I just drank a pot of espresso at 12:30 at night. So
Okay.
needless to say, when she walked in the door at 4 a.m., that I was just sitting there going, "Hey, how you doing?" Wide awake, wired up. In fact, I think I was eating chili at 4 in the
Oh my
morning.
goodness.
And yeah, so right now I've slept about, and then finally I got to sleep, but I
Right.
had to get up at 6.
Mhm.
So I have less than 2 hours sleep in the last 24 hours. So
Oh
I'm
dear.
I'm fading quick, but yeah, that was
I'll have to make this a
my
quick one.
big exciting story. So that was
What a nightmare.
yeah, quite a nightmare. And you know, she'll listen to this, but she's kind of a nervous Nelly. So this whole thing was like stressful, like crazy, like not knowing, standing in a foreign province, and then
Right.
not having a ride, stuck with a suitcase, nowhere to go. So yeah, she's like,
That's
I'm never
scary.
leaving home again. I'm never leaving home again.
No,
So
that's creepy.
yeah, but
Well, I'm glad they took her home and
well, they took care of her in the long run, but it's quite the inconvenience. And I guess they should have called her,
right.
really.
No,
Now,
no
to be
doubt.
fair, they did email, but these girls aren't checking their emails that day. Like they still had to check out the hotel, so they didn't have an option anyway.
Right.
So that was big excitement. And then on
Wow.
top of it all, we've had so much snow here. It's crazy.
It keeps coming, huh?
It does. It keeps coming.
Yeah. I've
So,
noticed that. It's been coming here too.
but, yeah, but I don't know if there's much more to say on my end.
Yeah. Did you put any videos out? You did the shorts.
Yeah, I just did the shorts. I'm working on that video with the squirrels,
Right.
and like I said, it's going to go over like a lead balloon.
Yeah.
But I gave myself the freedom to do what I want
Yeah.
and not worry about it. So, but I'm maturing.
Do you
I
have a
can't
trail?
care. I
Yeah.
can't care about what everybody thinks all the time. Just do what you want to do and be happy. So that's my new motto. Go ahead.
Amen.
What were you
Amen.
asking me? Do I
Unless you
have a
need to,
trail?
unless you're trying to sell stuff, then you got to do what other people want.
That's right.
Then you're sad all the time. No, it doesn't have to be that way. But the question I had was, did you have a trail cam out there?
I had a so day one, I had a trail camera set up, and that was training day.
Mhm.
But when I got the footage that night, I had it all day long.
Mhm.
When I got the footage, it was good enough, but it wasn't great.
Mm.
So the next day, I sat out there from like 7 o'clock in the morning, changing my action camera battery every
Right.
hour until like 4:30 in the afternoon, trying to capture some better footage.
Right.
But anyway, it turns out that the trail camera footage is the best footage for the action, because
Huh.
they gave up day 2. They were already giving up. The big guys didn't even bother coming.
Hmm.
They had tried enough, and they knew there was nothing for them. So
Right.
anyway, it'll be a fun little video.
Yeah. That's
I
cool.
know it's not well, that's my buddy Steve. He had an aluminum brake in his work trailer,
Yeah.
putting in a window in the neighbor's house, so it all worked out perfect.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That works out nicely.
Yeah.
It's good to have good neighbors.
It is.
Indubitably. What the heck? Is that a train whistle?
That sound, boys and girls, is signaling the start of a new segment. We willy-nilly throw up people's names every week and talk about them, but I decided, and we talked about, that we're going to start a segment of highlighting artist of the week.
Yeah.
And every week we're each going to come to the table with a favorite artist. Now, this is not just the carver. This is not just the best carver. This is someone who got our attention. We like what they do, and they're trying, and we want you to go and check them out and give them some love.
That's right.
So,
that's exactly right. And these folks are either folks we've newly discovered or have long admired. I know for me, some of them are newer, and this week's for me, somebody who I've known about for maybe just over a year. So, and we'll choose our own categories, Doug, or are we going to go with just a single category?
explain.
The carving caricature style, or we're just going to pick, well, actually,
in fact, my pick of the week is not even carving.
There you go.
It's more craft based. So
we're
going to say artist.
There you go.
Even though that term, I hate it.
Yeah.
But we're going to use it. Artist of the week.
It's too highfalutin, but
yeah. So
it'll work.
So why don't you, I introduced it. Why don't you go ahead and who did you pick this week?
All right. So my pick of the week is someone who Doug has mentioned and I've mentioned being jealous of. I'll say before I introduce who he is, I love the way that he chooses to set the carvings into the wood. And to me, that's what makes him such a fantastic carver, aside from just being great at carving and especially finishing, in both the sense that he uses the tools to create a nice finish and that he does a great job with the clear coats that he does. But it's Lucas Cost. And this was the picture that
you picked. I had Lucas on the brain and I said, oh, we just talked about him a week ago, but this is fantastic. I'm glad you did it.
Yeah. I mean, look, this was the post that made me go, there's no way I have to pick Lucas. Look at this carving in the corner. The way it frames
I love it.
Stunning.
Yep. No,
it's
Lucas Cost.
Stunning.
Instagram. He also sells on Etsy, and his work is phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's upped his game so much.
Yeah.
Not that he wasn't good before, but just the last even months have just been. I was like, wow.
Yeah,
they're fantastic.
Yeah.
In fact, I had a little back and forth with him today because I did not realize that he is a full-time wood carver.
No way.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, I had no idea. I was excited to read that. So I messaged him. I said, "What's your secret?" He goes, "This is perfect." He said, "Well, you have to decide to sell your work." I said, "Oh, good point. Good point. Yeah. All right. Points for Lucas.
Points for Alec too, maybe."
That's right. Points for both of you. So the key. So let me help me understand this. So you're a wood carver and you carve wood, but you're not making any money. You don't know why. So the trick would be to sell your carvings. Am I right?
Yeah.
That's crazy enough. It might work. Oh dear.
It's a revolutionary idea.
So where do you find him?
Well, Lucas has a website. It's Lucas Cost, which is LUCAST. LucasKost.com. He has an online shop there, website, but the way I prefer to look at him and his work is, well, actually not very much of him, mostly his work. It's Lucas Cost Carvings. So again, same spelling. It's a Kost as the last name, and then carvings plural. And that's where you can see this fine work here on the Instagrams. Did I not say?
There you go.
Yeah.
No.
So,
well, very good. That's very worthy. And I did have him in the brain, and I said, I better not bring him up again. It's fanboying over
right.
fellow Canadian. So I'm glad you did it. Yep. No, he's great.
Awesome.
So my pick of the week is, I don't even know her name, but I follow a couple of these. They're Russian. And I have always had a thing about the beach and driftwood. And this lady makes driftwood crafts, but then she'll set up little scenes of seaside villages on the driftwood. And sometimes she may include a hot air balloon or a cloud or something, but they're cute little artsy little crafts set on driftwood. And I know it's hard to describe. When I give you the name, why don't you search it? But the name is Olino, Olino _ more, MORE _ and that's on Instagram.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
And I love this style of craft. But she does all different kinds, and I follow a couple who do similar type crafts, and I just picked her today because I just love it. Find one with a full scene there, Alec, with like on a longer piece with like a whole village. Yeah, like, isn't that fun? That's so fun. I just love those little tiny houses and stuff. So I may have to try and make one or two of them myself. I love it. We go to the beach. We're in between two Great Lakes. We're kind of in the armpit of Lake Huron and Lake Erie, and we go either way to Huron or Erie at any given day. But we go very rarely would we ever be at the beach in warm weather. We're always shoulder season beachgoers, and that's it's great for collecting driftwood. And we're always Sophie and especially Willow too, they sit there for hours trying to find sea glass, which is basically just smoothed over broken glass. But yeah, I like that kind of thing. So good for her.
These are really neat. They kind of remind
fun.
me of little Scandinavian towns, the colors that they're painted.
Very bright colors. Yeah, Portuguese too. Oh, you know what? I shouldn't even say it. Even Newfoundland, all the seaside villages have really bright colors. And I think that in the olden days, it was the more pigment in the paint, the more repellent to the sea spray with the salt.
I'll be
dipped. Is what I believe anyway.
So, that's so cool. Yeah, those are neat.
Yeah. So
you don't have to be a wood carver to be featured on Carving and Coffee. You just have to make cool stuff.
Nope. That's right. And if you send us an email and ask us to highlight you, we probably won't.
True.
I say that teasingly, but and it's partly true. I get lots of emails of people asking for shout outs. I'm like, no, you need to earn them. So
it's silly.
They say, how do we earn them? I say, well, why don't you go make 200 videos and then come back to me? I'm not going to shout out your first video that you made.
Yeah.
So,
right.
But we were talking this weekend, especially with the snow, and I guess we can just officially say winter is here.
Indeed.
It sure feels like it. And we're locked in, and I thought we could just touch on winter. It's funny because we have such a, like, this podcast, believe it or not, is international. And
for sure,
a lot of people don't have winter. And so we're
trying to spread culture.
What's that?
We're trying to spread our culture.
spreading culture.
Our
But
northern culture.
I love winter. Like, I'm a fan of winter,
Yeah.
but there's so much more you can do, and I just love the morning you walk out, the big deep breath of cold air, and
Yeah.
it's one of my it's pushing to be. It's not quite my favorite season, but
Right.
it's a close second.
Well,
So
it's always something that I looked forward to as a kid. And it's always kind of blown me away that people are averse to it, because it seems like when you start out as a child, you're pretty much in love with it. I mean, most people love winter, right? It's like playing in the snow. I saw a bunch of kids today driving to home, the bunch of kids playing in the back of a school recess, building snowmen. It's the best time of year.
yeah, it's it really does mean play, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Unless you're a grown up and it means treacherous driving, scary white knuckle trips. But when
Right.
I was a boy, we grew up on a little hobby farm, and we had a really big hill,
Right.
and that was our, like, off the school bus straight to the toboggan hill,
Yeah.
and we'd toboggan till the bell rang for supper.
Right.
We had a big bell out on the deck, and mother would ring the old school bell, and
Yeah.
we'd hear it for miles away, but we'd have to come in. But yeah. But on the same note, what did you do as a kid? What was your thing? Oh, I should also mention too that we had the bush. I think I may have talked about this before. I
Oh
did
yeah.
in another video. We had a bush that
Yeah.
would actually flood, and
That's good
it would
news.
and it would freeze up,
That's what you want.
and we would be skating through the trees like we had our own little
That's cool.
like, you couldn't play hockey. There's too
Yeah.
many trees, but
Yeah.
you'd play like a tag on skates.
Yeah.
And I have a neighbor. It was we were rural, but I probably had 3 friends within walking distance, so we'd all get together and back in the bush and play a hockey tag or skate tag and stuff like that. So,
Oh yeah. Well, and when I was a kid, we had moved to Leonard, which was very rural compared to where I grew up, where I was previously, in kind of just a neighborhood where homes were, I mean, basically in arm's distance from each other. And so my parents had snowmobiles from the cottage that they sold when I was 4. And so they moved the snowmobiles. They're just old. I mean, it wasn't anything fancy. They were just like 70s and 80s snowmobiles. I think one was 350 and the other was 450 cc's. And then the other, I don't know what the other was, to be honest, but we would drag each other behind sleds with the snowmobiles. And, you know, looking back on it, I'm pretty sure that's the most dangerous thing you could possibly, right? Because there's snowboarding, there's skiing, those are dangerous, but towing someone behind a motorized vehicle on ice where there are trees and obstacles, it's pretty dangerous. But
and the momentum increases just like tubing on the lake. When you turn a corner,
yeah, exactly.
You just propel them twice as fast around the
yeah. Oh, and it's just absolutely a blast. But I mean, yeah, I mean, you mentioned playing on the ice. We when you go up in the cottage and we'd ice skate there. Of course, we'd spend, it felt like, more time shoveling the snow than we would actually skating.
Usually,
but,
yep.
So, but no, we did that. And my friend in his backyard had a swamp, and like you said, didn't have enough of a clearing to play hockey. So we just kind of ice skated in between the trees and fell through in spots, and then played in the muddy ice and got cold and went inside.
Always fall through in spots, you know, especially in the bush. When the sun does come out.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a log laying there, and that's your jumping log, whatever.
Yeah.
If there's a little dark spot on the ice and the sun comes out in the daytime, you know that the sun collects the heat on that log and melts around it.
Yeah.
And
That's
sure as anything, you're going through there. But yeah. Oh yeah. And you know, just the heating with the wood, like nothing says winter like wood smoke smell in the air. That's how I grew up. That's how I have it here. And just walking out, getting a big whiff of wood smoke in the cold air can't beat
awesome.
it. I always said there should be a wood smoke cologne.
Right.
That real man smell, right?
That'd be something that Old Spice, if you're listening, There's a
Yeah.
market.
Wood smoke.
Wood smoke. So what were your, let me put it this way, what were your greatest and least favorite parts of winter, either growing up or now?
Well, definitely like the toboggan hill. That was we spent more time there than anywhere.
You had a toboggan hill?
We had our own toboggan hill on our property. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We would build these monster ramps, and back in the day we didn't have real skis. We had plastic skis and stuff, and we'd try to stand on one ski, and many I don't know if any bones were broken, but I know that the one spot had a tree. I remember my cousin whacked his head. Oh, I got another good story. But my cousin whacked his head, put his tooth right through his tongue.
Oh,
It's so nasty. And
oh,
lots of stitches came from not from the snow, but usually hitting each other or hitting trees. But I have a fantastic story. My buddy Greg, who lived really, it was only maybe half a kilometer down the road. We had the same hill kind of creamed the back of our properties. So he had the same hill, only his hill had more trees, like very treed hill. And he had a little hill, like only like a little 25-foot hill,
yeah.
which we would slide down on the top of the edge of the steep hill. And at the wrong time, well, we would just make little trails and we go down and then try and go down the steep hill. So you started small, and then if you went off, but if once you got going down the hill, you weren't stopping, especially if it was super slippery or harder snow. But anyway, one time when we were probably only 12, maybe 13,
Yeah.
he went down there, and he went down the small hill and then got caught, went down the big hill.
Uh-oh.
And 3/4 away, full speed, caught a tree right in the shoulder, between like his arm was out here and the side of his head, and it flung him up in the air like a rag doll, and he landed, just flopped him down the bottom, totally out cold. I'm like,
Really?
Greg's, yep. I'm like, Greg's dead. he's dead. And I had the wherewithal to run down there. He was out like, so me, it must have been like the greatest adrenaline rush ever. I picked him up and I carried him up the hill to his house, and of course, not knowing proper protocol, I was holding him, rang the doorbell, and his mother came out and freaked right out. I'm holding.
Yeah.
I think Greg's dead.
We killed Greg.
Killed Greg. Oh, and that just about that time he was really coming to, and he just started screaming at the top of his lungs. And it was incredible. But to picture it now, like as a 50-year-old man having some kid carrying my kid up and ringing the doorbell, like, it's so crazy. Here's your dead kid.
Yeah.
But anyway, we laugh about that all the time. I'm still in contact with him, and
those were different days. Yeah,
that's one of our favorite stories. But anyway, he ended up having to go to the hospital, and he had a major concussion for
Oh no,
like a day or two. So yeah,
shoot, dang,
yeah. But pet, you got any pet peeves for winter? I got pet peeves. Yes, I got pet peeves.
Oh yeah, let's hear them.
The opposite of the fun.
I'll give you mine, but you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mine pet peeves. Well, so 4 years ago, I bought a 100-year-old ex-crack house that was at one time a vacation cabin, right before it fell to the crack dealers from the pipes that I found. I know this because of the crack pipes that I found in the little shed, but the worst part of winter since owning this home is just the fact that it's not properly insulated. And a funny story on that, when I was redoing the kitchen, I tore out the drywall, existing paneling. And of course, as with these old homes, you who have had those homes know you have to take off layers and layers and layers of sheeting over the walls, that's like siding and whatever else they used in the interior over the course of 100 years. When I finally got down to right before I got to the studs, there was some old original siding. And then I saw, of course, peak up above, there is insulation, the reflective tape of really old insulation. So I'm thinking, oh, thank God, I don't have to take this final layer off. I can just board over it. The insulation's good. I've seen this insulation in other parts of the house. And so I started to to drywall over it. And a few months later, I had to cut in to the drywall again to install a panel. And I noticed that where once existed insulation, there was only that filament, that reflective layer at the outside, no insulation whatsoever in that wall. And so not only was there poor insulation originally, there now, because of mice carrying all of the fibers of the fiberglass out into God knows where, there's no insulation in my kitchen at all. So basically my house is kind of been insulated as an after fact. So it's quite a journey. Everything's cold all the time.
Well, that would be it probably wasn't fiberglass either. It's probably that like a newspaper, chopped up newspapers.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, right. No, I don't know what it was, but it was really old and terrible. So,
but
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying mine is more snow related.
Oh, really?
Drives me crazy is people who don't clean off their vehicles after a big snow. They just take off.
Yeah.
And they clean the windshield off and think it's good enough. This morning, again, we had about 2 or 3 inches last night. This morning, I go out at 6 o'clock in the morning, so it's still dark. And all I see is, I think it's a car, but it's just this glow of snow because their headlights are behind the snow. And just clean your headlights off. Just do it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how they can drive. Like you can't see with that there.
Mm-hmm.
But another one I had is of course I take care of a lot of snow removal, and I have a mall, I have a church, my other pet peeve is people who don't realize it's winter in the middle of winter. Like, it's dress appropriately. Leather bottom dress shoes. Don't tell me that it's slippery. Don't tell me that the parking lot or sidewalk slippery when you're wearing leather bottom dress shoes. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But back in the day, everybody would have these little, even if they were dressed up in their suits, they'd have these little, what they call it, galoshes or rubbers, little slip over little things to give you some tread. And then you got wherever you were, you just slide off those little rubbers off your shoes, or you wore, or imagine this, wear winter boots, right?
What's that?
Yeah, the boots you wear in the winter.
Huh.
But
so are those like the dress shoes, or?
Yeah, well, we've spoiled our whole society now that they think that they should always be on dry pavement,
right,
in the middle of a snowstorm. Like, people are just fighting. The salt that gets used nowadays is off the hooks because of lawsuits. Everyone's suing everybody, but they're out there falling down on their leather bottom shoes. Right?
Yeah, no, it's silly. The litigious culture. People are
it really is
covering
really
their butts.
is.
But I thought of another one.
Okay.
Jinx.
Go for it. Go ahead. I got one.
Mine is frozen pipes. Of course, owning a 100-year-old home, the pipes, in the first year of living there, would constantly freeze. Constantly. So one morning, let's say 2 a.m, I woke up to the lounge. I'm thinking that can't be the softener. That's pretty loud. So I run downstairs and there's water squirting from my bathroom into the toilet, and then into this bathtub, all over the sink. It's spraying from this wall right behind my toilet. And sure enough, I think fast enough to run over to the kitchen and turn the water valve off so it's not, turning my bathroom into a pool. But yeah, the pipes would constantly freeze. It probably happened 5 or 6 times, and I learned to just keep a slight trickle in the in the bathroom. And before, now it's insulated under there, so I don't have to do that. But yeah,
you keep a little drip going just to keep it moving, because the expansion of the ice is what splits the pipes, right? So
right.
Good point. I have one more. I have to say one more.
I love it. Yeah.
This one here, like I swear I could drive off the road and lose my mind. is people who, after the snow after the road has been plowed,
Yeah.
blow all their snow onto the road. Have you seen this?
Oh, definitely. With the tracks or the people with the, yeah.
Either the snow blower, even the shovels, they'll
Yep.
shovel all their snow out to the road, thinking
Yeah.
that the traffic's gonna take it away or push it down or whatever. Oh my goodness. The other day I was driving along and the road had been cleared already, had been plowed, and all of a sudden there's this big plow. Well, you almost wipe out, like you lose control almost, hitting this big snow drift. I'm like,
Right.
I wanted to turn around and shovel all that snow right back on their in their house. I want to put it in their house. That's what I felt like. I was so
On their
mad.
bed.
I was like, use your brain. But it happens all the time. People just blow all their snow out on the road to take it away. It's not like they have 5-foot drifts that they can't put it anywhere else. It's just like
It's
the cars will take care of it. But meanwhile,
snow
people are
litter.
getting in accidents.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Snow
right.
litter. Yeah.
But anyway, that's funny. We got started off so nice with the nice thoughts of winter and just got all just right into it. Like, I hate that.
Well, I will say, to counterbalance this, talk about something happy for once. Winter hikes are, I think they're so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is controversial thought. I prefer a winter hike to a summer hike.
I would agree with that, depending on the terrain.
Yeah.
So I have one of my favorite memories is a moonlight winter hike, but I walked on a packed trail.
Mm-hmm.
See, right. The difference being nothing worse than a hike in snowshoes and fresh light snow.
Right.
That is the greatest workout a man can have, is trying to lift snowshoes in 3 feet of snow to get onto that. But but I have great memories. Moonlight in the winter is the best. It's just like daylight.
Yep.
The walking is beautiful.
That's
the
it.
Stars are beautiful. The clean, crisp air. I love it. I love it.
No, that you're right. And I forgot to distinguish. You're right. Nighttime winter walks are my favorite. Yeah. And it's for that reason. You can see, like, pretty much like what people don't realize who don't have snow is not only is the moon bright, but the snow reflects sunlight or the moonlight.
Yeah. It's like a dull daylight,
right?
For lack of a better, but it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Something from last week I wanted to ask you about, and I asked you on the podcast, but you never did answer. Why on earth do you drink hot water?
Oh, I read a comment and I couldn't figure out what he said when he said, why hot water? So I had to rewatch the episode. It wasn't hot water, it was cold water, and I misspoke. But you know what it was, actually? I didn't misspeak. I was making a joke, like a nice hot cup of water. I meant to say, it was supposed to be like a lead into coffee.
Gotcha.
All
right. That's
trying to
better.
tease people.
I thought you were had some old grandma remedy that you had.
It's for my throat.
It's for my throat. Yeah. And a couple of alternative things to carve that came in this week too.
Oh,
were because we tried to cover as many as we could, but we couldn't think of it on the spot. And a couple that came in were pits.
Tiger nut was one of them, right?
No.
Oh,
you just took away my word. One was avocado pit. Avocado pit and taiga.
Oh, taiga.
I don't know what that is, to be honest.
Me either.
Okay, so we both don't know what that is. But I thought there was more that came in. Wasn't there more?
There was. I'm looking at it now.
Okay.
Let's see. The why hot water comment really threw me for a loop. So soapstone, of course, we talked about. Avocado pits. That's one that I've seen. Never had an interest in trying, but I guess if it's dry, it's not as much of an issue. But moose antlers.
Yes, that's right. Antler of all kinds. Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
Deer antler you can carve.
Yeah.
To some extent.
I have a video called Crafting with Antler.
Mm-hmm.
And can you This, I don't like it because it stinks.
Yeah.
Like the dentist drilling your teeth. That's the exact smell of that drill in your own teeth. It must
Yeah.
be the same as the doing the antlers. And it's awful smell, but
Yeah.
makes beautiful stuff. I've made rings with it. And anyway, I have a whole video like keychain stuff, and it's fun to play with, but the stink is too much, especially in the house. But
Oh no. And for it to really work, you have to use power. So
yeah, you do have to
it's
use power.
just gross all the way around. I would never make a habit of it. The other one someone mentioned was Pipestone.
It's what?
Pipestone.
I don't know what that is. Pipestone.
It's well, let me just say, when I was out west looking for pipestone, because I'd heard that it was everywhere, every piece of granite I found I thought was pipestone. And so if I told you that I knew what pipestone was, I'd be lying. I would have found pipestone when I was out west. I didn't know what it looked like, but it's a soft stone that's used for pipe making. And apparently you can sculpt it. You can carve it into other things, of course, right? If you can carve it into pipes, you can carve it into other things. But yeah.
Oh, are you talking about Meerschaum?
I'm not sure if that's the same thing.
Meerschaum, I thought that was like the bottom of a lake, kind of a sediment stone.
Oh yeah, Meerschaum. Here we go. Let's see if it's the same thing. Here's a giant ad in the way. Okay, Meerschaum is a smoking pipe made from a mineral which is called sepiolite. Okay, and that's floating in the Black Sea. I think that's different.
Okay.
I think that's different. We've got pipestone, and that is, I'm not sure how common it is, but I think it's catlinite. Catlinite is also called pipestone. It's a type of argillite, a mudstone, which is brownish red in color and occurs in a mix of quartzite. And it's fine grained and easily worked. And so so it was made popular by the Native Americans. It was used by the Native Americans.
As seen on Native American TV.
That just sounded like, I think that like the Native Americans were like, it was like a TV show that didn't exist in real life. But yeah, so there's a pipestone pipe. Pretty cool.
Okay. Yep.
So anyway, there you go. So Toganut, I don't know anything about, but I'm tempted to search it. I should probably do it after the podcast, but it's a South American vegetarian. It's a vegan ivory, they call it. So interesting.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, nonetheless, we definitely learned some things about other materials to carve. So thanks for that, guys.
Yeah. Is it time?
It's time.
All right, giddy up. As Alec reaches behind his chair and pulls out his, what do we call that? Mailbag. You hesitated again. I thought we made eye contact and we were going to be in sync for once, but nope.
Well, this is what happens when both parties are waiting for the other person to go.
Yeah.
We're both waiting for each other to go. But it's like no one says it. So today we have, and I'm grateful, we had quite a few folks come in and ask questions just today. And so I was looking a little week before that. So I was thinking, well, we had a lot of nice statements, but not a lot of good questions. So
we like nice statements, though. Nothing wrong with a nice statement.
I can't be upset at those. But
in fact, as far as nice statements go, I had another thought that I was going to run by. Yeah, maybe a feature segment would be random acts of kindness. Just something strange that happened in the week that made you smile or made you happy, or you saw someone do something for somebody else. I'll tell you why.
Too happy. It's too happy.
It is.
Yeah. It doesn't fit our brand.
No, it doesn't fit my brand.
Yeah.
But I had a guy, just before we go to our questions, it was so funny. I thought of it. There was this fella walking down the sidewalk, and he was like a 25-year-old hippie. Like, I think he had like a wool poncho, some kind of a cape thing. He had a toque on and a walking stick,
What's a tuca?
But he's like a toque.
Like a
Oh
thing on his.
no. Oh no. A knit cap for you, American.
I didn't know.
A toque is a knit cap. Yeah.
Really? You're serious?
Yes. I'm dead serious. Yeah.
Toque.
Yes. A stocking, maybe? Perhaps
Yeah.
a stocking
A
cap.
stocking
A
cap.
stocking cap.
Oh, you
No,
American.
it's a toque. But anyway,
Toque.
we just made eye contact because I was looking at him going, "You're a funny looking dude. Like, cool. Nothing wrong with that."
Yeah.
And he went like this. He reached up to his bare chin,
Yeah.
and he went like this. And for the audio, I'm just kind of fluffing my pretend beard.
Yeah.
And he gives me a big thumbs up and a big grin. And I was just like, it was. I
That's
was.
sweet.
Willow was with me, and she's like, "You just been catcalled." I said, "Yeah," and I liked it. Well, anyway, it just made me happy for at least a minute. So,
that's sweet. So this is a comment more than a question, but it's from Pete. He's suggesting a type of dye that ages. Well, it's used by the Parks Canada to age new buildings, and apparently, small mushrooms are turned from fresh poplar. No, is it made? I'm a little confused as to the type of treatment here, but he refers to mushrooms, and I'm thinking that's the carved mushroom that's in the email. So sorry for the listeners.
Peter Hyde, right? I believe his name is. He's
correct.
He's Ontario. He's a wood turner and a carver. Yep.
And so I just pulled up a picture of it here. But Eco Wood Treatment is a Canadian-made, non-toxic, kind of cheap product that can be used. He's suggesting that for those who want that look of aged wood,
Weathered aged wood. Yeah.
So thanks for that, Pete.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, we missed that last week. Actually, I think it's set for an extra week.
Yeah, right. So that is that, and thank you, Ingve, for correcting my pronunciation of your name. Apologies. Hey guys, enjoying the show. Keep up the good work. I live in Ecuador, and there are no stores with basswood here. I cut a limb yesterday of guasmo, the best wood I have found for carving here. And Ingve can correct my pronunciation of guasmo. But will it be okay to go ahead and carve and paint while wet? Or does it have to be dry? Will it split? I sell my carvings, so it is kind of important. Thanks.
Well, do you know what my response to that is? Since I have absolutely no clue about that wood, I've never heard of it, I have no idea.
Right.
And when I tell people say, "Is this wood okay? Is this wood okay?" I just say, "Why don't you try it?"
Yeah,
just give it a carve. You don't know until you try.
Yeah,
and people always want to know the answer before they just jump in. Don't think about it. Carve it.
Yep.
What's the worst that's going to happen? You know?
Yeah.
It cracks. What to do? Right. Just don't.
If anything,
a week on it.
Yeah, exactly. Do a test piece, carve something simple, or even just use a piece of raw wood. But no, if anything, the paint's going to seal the pores and slow down the cracking. So if anything, it'll be beneficial. But again, give it a shot. So
yeah, that's all we can say, because that's a foreign wood to us for sure.
Right. So Tom says, another fun show. Thanks. Seriously, now I enjoy each show, the new show, better than the last. Great to be in on the conversation. Also, thanks for answering my question about the grain. Alex's chart was excellent, but my problems occur in the small dip at the bottom where you encounter the grain straws in two directions, but not as severe as the flat plane might be. Doug was right, as a gouge across the grain did it to clean it up. And so he says, my question was answered. Thanks. Be well.
Wow.
So that's good to know. Stan says, I was confused with the start of this week's podcast.
I like this one.
I thought the figure on the right with the glasses and the red hat was Doug doing another elf carving tutorial. Much to my surprise, it was my favorite paid carver, Alex, with this emoji. It is awesome. The crazy emoji. The gentleman that sent the mail in about the ads is a little overboard on the amount of ads there are, but there has been a pretty big increase on YouTube ads recently. I hope you
I did
enjoy
hear
it.
that, to be fair.
Yeah, no, for sure. I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving, Alex and Doug. I like that he keeps my name incorrect, but yours right.
Yep.
Alex instead of Alec with a C. And whatever you do, I hope you won the hockey game. Keep up the good chatting on the podcast. Enjoy it always, Stan.
I wasn't thinking elf. I was thinking more of a gnome with his red toque.
Fine, we'll go with that.
Toque.
Sure. What the heck is this? Still the hydro.
T-O.
Okay, hydro.
Q-U-E.
Yeah, I'm glad your hydro is working good over there, John.
Hey.
John or
Hey.
yeah. This is my favorite comment. No episode 14 on the Apple Podcast app. What's up with that? Love the show, guys. Keep on keeping on.
Yeah, I feel bad for the people that they look forward to the audio on Friday morning. It's like it's Friday. Can't wait to go listen to the audio version of the podcast. And
right.
I feel their pain, because nothing worse than not getting someone just not doing their job, I guess, is what you're saying.
Just embarrassed. I'm embarrassed.
I love it. This is my favorite thing. I hope you never change. It just makes it so much more fun.
So
now if I do that, I mean, there's a first for everything. Right? First time for everything.
Yeah. Doug, make a mistake. No. So Blaine says, hey, thank you for both taking the time to create YouTube videos where you share your techniques and skills. I don't really comment on videos or look at comments that others leave, so I was very surprised to hear about the anonymity of the internet and that it gives a-holes, he says here, the freedom to endlessly express themselves.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
Yeah, the tender-eared ones, we apologize. Have you considered combining forces to create online content? I understand Alec has set videos that are behind a paywall. This almost feels like an email that we should probably just keep to ourselves. Yeah, this is a business idea. You can even invite other carvers who create other content. Anyway, this is a great suggestion, Blaine, and continues onward about talking about incorporating different types of tools. Doug could do knife work and gouges, all kinds of fun stuff. And I'll say first, before you go, Doug, I have an online school with just myself as the instructor, and we're starting to film other instructors, and we hope to scout Doug one day. We haven't convinced him yet, but that would be cool.
Not gonna happen.
So sorry, Blaine. Sorry to make you sad.
Yeah, but no, the school for Alec, to be fair, is his school is where you go after you learn all you can from me. That's the high school. You go to public school on my YouTube channel, and then if you want to take it to the next step, you move on up to Alec's school. So
Rick says, hey, Doug and Alex, if that is your names. No, it isn't my name, by the way, guys. It's Alec with a C. That's my name.
Well, that's what you're calling yourself this week?
No, don't do that to me, Doug. Don't do that to your man. He says, I am really enjoying the podcast and I like the feel of the banter. Doug, your recent tip on the Santa video is in splitting square stock to make it triangular is a game changer for me. I tried that while following your tutorial and it works out great. In the past, I've tried to saw it with a coping saw and a back saw, and both resulted in disaster. Now I can double my material for twice the fun. Thanks again, Rick, from Edmonton, Oklahoma.
Edmonton, yeah. Oklahoma?
Edmonton, yeah, right.
What did you say?
Stuck in Canada. Edmond.
Oh, Edmond, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I misspoke. Doug and Alec, I think I can safely say that the vast majority, this is a little bit of a scolding, by the way. I'll preface it that way. I can safely say the vast majority of your watchers and listeners appreciate your talents and that you would freely share them with us. I am clearly on the side of that audience. You have given me insight into a wonderful hobby that I would otherwise have never looked into or have attempted. For those who criticize, they are the smallest minority. This underbelly of criticism lives everywhere in society, even for those who give freely. Please overlook this underbelly and focus on the things you're doing with the God-given gifts you have seemed to be received in abundance. Merry Christmas Mike.
That sounds okay. You had me on guard there. It's like scolding. What? No, that's very reasonable and fair to say. I didn't mention earlier, but I did send you a picture today.
Yeah.
Thumbs down or gone.
Yay!
YouTube has an option that you can still give a thumbs down, but it won't show. So for all you people that are subscribed to my channel and give me a thumbs down within the first 2 minutes of a half-hour video,
What now?
I don't care. Who cares? You're nothing. You make no mark. It doesn't hurt.
You're nothing to me.
You're nothing.
This is by far. Yeah.
I want to say one more thing.
Sure.
I found a segment in my YouTube analytics of I guess I had put a whole bunch of blocked words, or they gave me options of blocked words and swear words, and I've never gone there ever.
Huh.
Oh, not good. Not good. It just collected them all.
Really?
I could only read about a dozen. I'm like, hey, I don't need this. So anytime someone called me the regular name and added the expletive with it, it went in this file. And
wow.
Yeah, people are so nasty.
So you can actually access that. That should be wrong. Shouldn't be right. I mean,
well, anyway, it's I'm just glad to do it, and I will never go open that can of worms again.
No, it's not worth it. But this is by far the weirdest intro or misrepresentation of our names, but I guess we definitely did it to ourselves. So applesauce and drumstick.
That is different.
I love listening to you both and your banter. Keep up the good work. As a new carver, I quickly realized the most important tool in my collection is my safety glove. Working with sharp tools, cuts and scratches come with learning to carve. Do either of you have any memorable or funny injury stories? Bonus question. Have either of you used and purchased a rough out? What are your opinions? And I have yet to buy one, but they seem like a good way to work on a larger project with the shape predefined. Also, iced coffee is better than hot coffee. There, I said it.
Oh, that's blasphemy.
Love the show. Sam.
I don't have a good I don't have feeling in a couple tips of my fingers, but that's not really a fun story.
Yeah. Well, you gotta tell us why.
The wood broke. A piece of wood broke, and I just went right across my fingers. Do you know what's funny? Here, tell me if surely you've cut yourself. Working with chisels is a little bit harder than the knife, though, eh? But when you have cut yourself, and this is for the listeners too, have you foreseen the cut of yourself before it happened?
Yeah.
So many times I can see it in my mind. I say, oh, you probably shouldn't make this couch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. You say, I shouldn't. Oh, too late.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I always, every time I'm like, I knew at the moment I started the cut what was going to happen, and sure enough, it happened.
Yeah.
But I don't wear a glove. I need to wear a glove, and I started wearing a glove when I started making videos to show the beginners wear a stinking glove, because cuts aren't fun. But, and a big but, I hate wearing gloves.
Yeah.
I rarely wear gloves in the wintertime outside. I used to frame houses gloveless.
Yeah.
So I could hold nails. I don't like gloves. I don't know. And so I try to throw it in at some point, like, be safe, be smart, but I can't wear a glove anymore. I just gave up on the facade that I always wear a glove.
Yeah. I think the new title of this podcast is going to be and a big butt.
Yeah, there you go.
At least the title of this episode. So, but no, I agree. I think it's good. Well, and really to me, it's the difference between holding the wood that you're carving on and carving on a fixed piece of wood. So like for most folks, if they're holding a carving while they're carving on it, and they're, maybe a beginner or an intermediate carver, you got to have a glove. You can't not have a glove. It's just not smart. But if you're an experienced advanced carver, you can hold the wood while you're carving on it. But especially if the wood is fixed to a fixture, not a problem. No need for it whatsoever, as far as I'm concerned, because your hands are never and should never be in front of the cutting edge.
Right.
So it's kind of a non-issue. But as far as good stories, power tools have been my bane. And I think I've said it before, but I was working on a chainsaw piece, like large scale thing, and I forgot to mount the carving to the table. I thought it was mounted. I was moving the piece, so I went back after dinner to carve on the piece, and got the chainsaw fired up, and just absolutely sucked the piece, into my body, and the chainsaw went down into my crotch. And luckily, I was wearing a leather apron, cut a hole right through the leather apron, right through my shirt, and stopped right before it got to my belly. And so I still have that. I still have that apron as a memory, as a reminder of the importance of wearing protective gear. My kids will thank me for that gear, or not. Who knows, depending on how they are. But
so you can still have kids after that accident. That's
exactly.
That's a very important thing. Yeah.
No, my kids will thank me, I'm sure. So the reality is, power tools are, I think, far more dangerous than hand tools. And that's another pro of hand tools. A lot of people think that the reason there's an elitism behind hand tools is that there's some innate thing of it being harder that makes it better. But for me, the reason I see it as superior to power is not because it's more old fashioned or it's traditional or it's the right way to carve. It's just that it's less noisy, it's more relaxing, and it's just safer.
Yeah. The Making It podcast this week, Jimmy Dresta went off on basically, why do you think the old ways are better? Do you not think that your grandpa
Yeah, I heard
you don't
this.
think your grandpa would use the modern day tools? You think he would want to plane that board down, or would he grab a sheet of plywood and cut the plywood instead? It was a beautiful little rant. He really well done. And then he went off and he talked about Bugs Bunny characters and how when the singing frog came out of the box. You don't know what I'm talking about at all.
I do, actually.
Do you?
I do.
Okay.
This time I do.
Okay. Because you didn't know Oscar the Grouch. I didn't think you could go back to Bugs Bunny. But when they found the singing frog, when he was tearing down the old building with his sledgehammer, they found the box with the singing frog who would only sing and dance when nobody was looking. And then jumped ahead. He couldn't make money because the frog would not sing and dance when he put it in public, but he invested everything into trying to create this show with this frog. So anyway, end result is he gets mad at the frog, puts the frog back in the box, puts it back in the building, and then it shows 80 years later the guy with the laser just vaporizing everything instead of hammering this building down, and he finds the frog, and the same thing happens again. And he says, would he rather knock a building down with a sledgehammer, or would he rather have that vaporizer?
Right.
He did a much better job than I'm doing.
Yes, he did.
The Making It podcast.
He also had more sleep than you did.
That's right. I'm losing it big time. I'm fading.
But no, it's a good point. It's like, if you could hand that guy, if you could hand some worker on the side of the street taking a building down a laser gun, he would take that. He wouldn't, for posterity or any reason, be like, no, I need this hammer. This is the way to do it. So
yeah, nothing is better or not. But to be fair, I'm with you on the hand tools, and I love the quiet. It's why I choose to use a canoe more than a power. I used to have a bass boat. I sold it, and I use a canoe. I just, when I do get the time to get out, I just want it to be relaxing, not fume or smell filled of But I'm going to eat these words in a few minutes because I got something else on my mind. But anyway, as far as any major incidents I've had, I don't have any good stories. I did, it wasn't carving, but I did stick a 1-inch chisel straight into my knee and had to get it sewn up pretty good. My pants were blood from the knee. I was actually leaving a trail in the hospital walking,
Oh.
just a big blood trail. But I was setting a newel post for a railing in a house. So when you set a newel post, I like to put about 4.5 inches into the floor. So on the edge of every stairwell, you have your joist. Well, that joist that's on the edge of the stairwell should be a double joist. So say 2 2x10s, and the plywood's always on top. So you cut that square of plywood the same size as the joist, and then you take only one side of that joist down 4 inches, and then you notch the newel post, set it in with glue, screw it, and that's why your post is solid on your railing.
Right.
But I always used to take a chisel to just quickly cut that plywood out, and I sitting there with my knee down in front of that little square hole, and the chisel hit something and skipped, and I basically drove the chisel right to my knee.
Oh gosh.
So that was a fantastic cut.
Man.
And yeah. So
I stabbed myself in the belly once, but my story is a little bit more colorful in that I was colorful. I don't know. The right word is not politically correct, but I was dancing in my basement. I lived with my parents and I was carving. I decided to move my studio into the basement because they had actual heat. Excuse me. And so I think I had some music on and I was kind of dancing around with my 1-inch number 3, and I stabbed myself right in the stomach. And yeah, I still have the scar. I can see it. You know, it's right there. You can't see it. It's not worth it. But and I looked down and I could see connective tissue, you know, right before the muscle. And I was a fitter man then. And yeah, I got kind of dizzy, but then I like, this is okay. And then I got some super glue in between the 2 layers of skin, and then I held it together for 30 seconds and it stayed together and it healed up. So
okay, I got one more story then.
Yeah.
I told you my hernia story before.
Oh, unfortunately.
Well, I built a house, 2-story house, and I framed it by myself, and because I was building at nighttime. So I had my son, who was like 10 at the time, and it was like, I'm gonna lift this 40-foot wall, get the workbenches under it, then get the sawhorses every time, just in increments, trying to raise this wall, then get the step ladders on an angle, and then the final push. Anyway, I blew my guts out building that house, but they wanted to knock me out to do the surgery to stitch my guts back up, and I said no, we don't need to do that. So they just went with the what do you say,
anesthetic?
No, but the back one, the epidural,
the block,
like when the girls get the have a baby one.
Yeah,
because I didn't want to be knocked out. I said I don't want my picture all over the internet.
Right.
Are you listening to me?
You didn't. Right?
Yeah.
I was just Googling the right term for that when you said it, but I did hear your joke. I just didn't have
anyway,
the time to
react. So he did that full cut.
Were you YouTube famous at that point?
No. But he did that whole incision, and I was like, "Ow!" He goes, we should have waited a little bit longer.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. He did the cut, and before the freezing has set in.
Just enough. I can't. We're making people uncomfortable over here.
And then
I stuck it in my abdomen.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
All right. As far as the rough out, I've never bought a rough out. Never used one. Never bought one. Not against them, but always had. I guess I always had the saws or whatever. If I wanted to do it, I just make my own. Of course, they're not as close, but close enough. So I've never bought one.
No, me either.
All right. Got anything else there, or is that wrapping it up?
That's it.
Okay.
I think. Well, there might be. No, that's it. Cool. Yeah, that wraps it up.
Well, that wraps it up, except for what you've been watching, learning, seeing, reading, anything.
Yeah.
What do we call this segment? This is like the
media portion.
The media portion of our show.
Right. Yeah. For me, Do you have anything off the top of the noggin?
Yeah, I sure do.
Well, you go first
I
then,
was gonna,
because yeah.
well, I was going to give you this great holier than now speech about how I've removed all the apps from my phone and
Mhm.
how I've spent 80% less time on the internet, which is true.
Hmm.
I've been had a great. People are saying, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm great. I'm great."
Right.
I haven't been paying much attention to the internet, but I create content.
Right.
That's what I do. And it seems to me every time I try to go and peruse something that I want to see, all of a sudden I have to spend all that time answering messages and questions, and there's no joy. And then someone calls me a name, and then I fester and stew about it all day, and I'm grumpy. So I mean, I have avoided that greatly. And I
Right.
was going to give you this big speech of how life is so great, but last night I got sucked in on a rabbit hole, and I loved it. And now I'm obsessed with it, and I have to lose it because I don't think, well, I think my wife may approve, but
Okay. Now you have to say what it is. You can't delay any
I'm
longer.
I will. So remember we just talked about the bass boat and how I prefer
Oh
the quiet
no.
and the enjoyment.
You're not gonna
Well,
get a
it's not
bass boat, are you?
no, I'm not gonna get a bass boat.
Okay.
I have family members with bass boats. I have a tin boat in my
Yeah.
yard with
Okay.
a outboard, but
Yeah.
no, Honda in years past has always made this little trail motorcycle. It's a Honda Trail, 125cc.
Perfect.
It's so much fun. I watched so many videos waiting for my wife to get home. Like I
Mhm.
had like way too much time, and I went down this rabbit hole. So Honda makes the mini motos. So it's not just the trail. It's the,
Hmm.
what is it? I wrote them down. It's the CT Trail 125. They make another street bike. It's called the Grom. They have the
Mhm.
Monkey, and they have
Hmm.
another scooter type one. And these are smaller bikes. I always wanted like a cafe racer, but as
Yeah.
soon as I saw that trail, or the trail or the Monkey, and I might be a little bit too big on
That's
these bikes,
that's really cute.
it's fantastic.
It's
And it
really,
goes
really
on.
cool.
I picture myself with my backpack on and just heading down a logging road and doing campouts and stuff on these little motorbikes and just commuting around town. I think it'd be great.
I had no idea they made these. These are cute.
Yeah. Well,
What
the trail has not come to Canada yet. But it's in the States right now,
what do
but
they
it
want
hasn't.
for these?
They're the cheapest bikes you can buy, like $3,800,
That's pretty neat.
right? And you start watching videos. I mean, top speed is like 55 for you miles per hour. I don't know what that is, 80 kilometers here,
Yeah.
but it's fast enough.
Fast enough for the town.
And you can throw your feet down. You can go all Flintstone and put your feet down
Right.
and on the trails and stuff because they're lower and they're a smaller bike. Now, I do wish they were just a hair bigger in size, the frame,
Okay.
but
Oh, yeah.
take yourself on a tangent sometime. Just watch these videos. They're so nostalgic because those bikes have been around since like the 60s, right?
Yeah.
So
It's
anyway,
funny the way that
that's
I'm on their website, and the way they took this picture makes it look like the rear tire's totally flat.
yeah,
They cut it.
that is a strange picture.
But in all the other pictures, it looks awesome.
Yeah, but look at the monster too. It's or sorry, the Monkey,
Oh, the Monkey. Is
the
that a
Honda
125
Monkey.
as well?
They're all
Honda.
pretty much the same motor,
Okay.
different styles.
Oh, that's adorable. I'm using these terms that not disparagingly. I mean, they're when you see them, you'll see why I describe it that way. It's cute.
Yeah. No, they're so cute.
Then
I can just imagine
they look awesome.
scooting to work and back, going home for lunch or going for a country drive, and I think it'd be so much fun.
No. I think I gotta get some.
Imagine you could have one right now and not picture next week's
Yeah.
truck problems.
Yeah. Just let it sit in there in the driveway.
Yeah.
Well, I have been on that thread lately thinking about all the things that I could be spending my money on, if it weren't for the
Oh,
sauna
wow.
and the truck, but
Sauna.
sauna.
What do you got?
Man, I feel like people are gonna think they're listening to the wrong episode, but I'm a broken record, man. It's the same for me. It's just still I haven't gotten I'm trying to find every single video on the internet about the Comanche, and I think maybe I'll be getting bored with it. I think next week I'll be on to something else as far as videos, but I haven't fully exhausted. Well, Bleeping Jeep was something that I fell into today for just, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes, but they're so thorough that I can't sit and watch through all of them. You know how those people, the instructional videos, they include every part of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not patient enough, but he's great. I enjoyed him a lot. But as far as media goes, aside from that, what else? I think that's been it. I haven't done anything reading wise, anything productive reading wise, but yeah, it's been the language thing in the morning. I do that for 20 minutes while I'm eating breakfast, and then that starts the day, and that's it as far as anything productive. But otherwise, it's just random rabbit trails, watching people turn. It saddens me watching people turn Comanches into rock crawlers. I've said it before, but yeah, and then repair videos, of course, the last couple of days. But nothing all that productive.
Well, very good.
But
well, I think we've overstated our welcome once again.
Yeah,
we seem to be getting a little bit longer all the time.
I know.
And I don't know if that's. I haven't heard any complaints. Have you?
No.
So it is what it is. But we're winding it down. That's the bottom line. This is the end. This is the end. So I want to say a big thanks to anyone who bought us a coffee this week. And again, a few more shirts were purchased.
Yeah.
And I do want to say, I don't want to sound like a salesman. Don't take this the wrong way. But if somebody in your life, needs to buy a t-shirt, this is the time. Don't wait till Christmas is coming. You're into December when you hear this.
Right.
So, you probably have to act quick if that's of interest to you. And we did it. Episode 16 is next.
That's right.
I can't believe we made it this far.
Me either, man.
16 episodes.
It's been fun.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. And have a good week.
Make sure and take your vitamins, folks.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you had to throw that in.